Anyway,
welcome back.
People keep saying they also love pedos. Speaking of alleged pedophiles who love Israel, Senator Lindsay Graham doesn't predict U.S. boots on the ground in Iran. Full interview.
And joining me now is Republican Senator Lindsay Graham of South Carolina. Senator Graham, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for...
Yeah, for David Frum, don't go to... If you're not going to go to Israel, go back to your country, Canada.
Being here. So you praised the president's decision overnight, and I know you just got off of the phone with Prime Minister Netanyahu. What did he say to you about this moment?
Well, first about the president's decision, I thought it was bold, quite frankly, brilliant militarily, necessary, and most importantly, effective. So well done, Mr. President, to your team and our military. It's a fantastic operation that has substantially degraded, I think, Iran's nuclear program. So I talked to Bibi just a few minutes ago, and I said, what would you like me to say? He said, tell the American people Israel is profoundly grateful for all we do for Israel and very grateful to President Trump for what he ordered last night. Two messages. He wanted me to urge the Iranian people to end this madness. Take this regime down and have a better life for yourselves and be part of the region in a new and different way. And second, he wanted me to tell the American people, Israel's not going to live this way anymore. They're not going to live under threat from Iran anymore. Last night, they were attacked. The early morning hours of today, after the attack by President Trump, Israel fired ballistic missiles into Israel, wounding Israeli citizens. 24 have been killed.
Wait, what? Israel fired ballistic missiles into Israel? How'd that happen? I'm Israel high. Israel fired ballistic missiles into Israel. This is somehow Iran's fault. The missiles were anti-Semitic because of Iran.
This regime is not going to be tolerated by Israel, is what he told me.
Okay, so let me follow up with you on that point, Senator, because Prime Minister Netanyahu has signaled that Israelis want to carry out regime change. Would you support that if Israel were to carry out regime change?
If I were Israel, I would have done it a long time ago. They've been held back in many ways. What would be the right response if America had a ballistic missile fired into our country and killed our citizens? We would wipe the offender off the map. So here's what I hope. After the hospital attack, and they were so lucky not to lose a lot of people, Israel's made a decision. This regime is going to change in one of two ways. They're going to change their behavior, which I doubt, the regime itself, or the people are going to replace the regime. They have less capability today than they did yesterday, but they're still religious Nazis. They want to purify Islam. They want to destroy the Jewish state and kick us out of the Mideast. Nothing's changed about the religious Nazi makeup of the regime.
All right.
Dog, you are a conservative Republican. What do you mean, Nazi regime? If they were actually a Nazi regime, you would love them. You have directly armed Nazi paramilitary groups. What are you saying? You love religious Nazis. You are a religious Nazi. Also, again, are you talking about Israel when you say religious Nazi regime?
Extraordinary details from your call with the Prime Minister. Let me ask you about this divide within the Republican Party. You, of course, did support the war in Iraq. The intelligence there turned out to be incorrect. Steve Bannon, one of President Trump's closest allies, this former chief strategist in his first term, is arguing and argued in the run-up to yesterday's strikes that this was the wrong move, that it was just going to be another mistake like what he called the Iraq War. Take a listen to a little bit of what he had to say.
This is exactly the same pitch as the Iraq War. Weapons of mass destruction.
Oh, I know.
You have to get it. So they understand one thing. They think the playbook works. This is why we have to stop it now. If we don't stop it now, it's going to work all the time.
Senator, give it.
Oh, that's crazy, man. Hey, remember these like anti-war guys? Or remember the anti-Israel guys? Remember all these guys who used to criticize Israel and stuff too back in the day? May 9th, 2025, Alex Jones's prediction that President Trump would completely cut ties with Benjamin Netanyahu comes true. Now, what's interesting, what's interesting about all of these guys is that they played a direct role. Steve Bannon himself has been like anti going to war with Israel seemingly, and yet literally yesterday he tweeted out that things were going to get spicy. Get ready for the big show. What happened? I haven't seen, don't say woke Bannon. My point is all of these guys that seemingly are antagonistic to Israel or seemingly antagonistic to war, more war, they're lying. Okay? This is Alex Jones directly participating in the fucking psyop that there was any sort of division between Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump. You are too? What? Yeah, totally. I'm one of Israel's bravest defenders. That's why every fucking pro-Israel group is constantly screaming about how I need to be deplatformed imminently. Notice how they never say that about Alex Jones, by the way? Interestingly enough. I wonder why.
Given that, why should the American people believe that this was the right time to strike Iran?
It was necessary. It was bold. It was brilliant. Hats off to the president. In May of 2022, Iran had 95 pounds of highly enriched uranium to make a handful of bombs. By May of 2025, they had 900 pounds. 60% enriched uranium has no commercial purpose. They have one peaceful reactor, actually, in Iran. They haven't used 1 gram of their enrichment program to run that reactor. They get their fuel from Russia for civilian purposes. They had 900 pounds of highly enriched uranium to make more than a dozen bombs. This was the right call at the right time. It stopped their program from advancing even further. Iran with a nuclear weapon is an existential threat to the state of Israel. The country is in the hands of religious Nazis. They want to kill all the Jews, and they're coming after us, and they were set back. And to Steve Bannon and all those people, Iran is different. Nuclear weapons in the hands of the Ayatollah is a nightmare for the world.
Their concern, though, is that this could lead to a wider war, maybe boots on the ground.
Yeah.
Vice President.
Oh, yeah, this was a good take, too. What the fuck are you doing? Is Miriam paying your debts? This is such a waste. There are like 500,000 fat guys in America who make videos about the mullahs hate our country and Israel for free. Why the fuck do people watch you do it? You're based, Fed-hating schizo, sir. Israel says they're 2 weeks away from having a bomb, but I'm lying. Alex Jones is a fucking Fed. He is a federal agent, okay? All of the fucking conspiratorial nut jobs who thought this dude was not a government asset are probably still churning the same fucking foundation for defending democracies talking points, as Adam Johnson correctly points out. When Alex Jones was in his truck reciting FDD points, talking points, FDD for the record is now your Fed posting. Alex Jones was in his truck reciting Foundation for Defense of Democracy talking points. That's when I knew for certain the die was cast. That's bullshit. Alex Jones is not a Fed. Why does he sound like one here? Let's hear.
I've had enough of the ignorance. How many times have I broken news before anybody else? How many times have I been right? I told you 15 years ago.
I love that he's also driving and holding his phone.
I learned directly from the people that saw the evidence.
He's literally holding his phone, using his other hand to speak. There's no hand on the wheel, and he's driving.
In CENTCOM, that they've got ground sensors, let's just leave it at that, that are in Iran, that can drive around and fly around and scoop up everything in the air and know what level of uranium enrichment and other...
He switched hands. He switched hands. He's like, yeah, let me put it on my good side. Let me put it on my good side. Hold on. No way, dude. Oh, Jesus.
Things are enriching other radioactive compounds, fissile material. And then I made calls and talked to people over the years, and they're like, yeah.
Oh, he's switching hands again. Dog, you're driving. What is going on? He just keeps no hands on the steering wheel at all. No hands. No hands on the steering wheel. My man's let Jesus hold the wheel, bro. This is crazy.
Yeah, how do you know that? You're not supposed to know that.
No, see, he put his one hand on the wheel now. And no, it's not a fucking self-driving car. He's on the highway. Every car is passing him by. He's on the highway doing like 25. Okay? Cars keep steadily passing him by. And he's literally, he just keeps switching hands, dude. Not even looking at the road. Getting passed on both sides. He's not even on the last lane for 4 minutes. Oh, dude, that's hilarious.
So when you got Netanyahu 25 years ago saying they're 2 weeks away, they weren't really 2 weeks away, but within 15 years ago, they got it. And now you see the CIA going, oh, Mr. President, if you go to full war with them, they'll go ahead and finish their bomb. Then Mossad said today they're 2 weeks again out. So the Iranians didn't go the route of North Korea bragging they got nukes.
Dude, I hate to defend him, but forward camera mirrors the image. Dog, why is his arm on the steering wheel then?
Showing it off. They've had them for a long time. And people go, well, wait, you're now saying Israel should strike them if they got a bomb. No, that's why they shouldn't. The same reason we don't attack North Korea. We can beat them in a nuclear war, but everybody...
Yeah, oh, I guess the mirrored camera also made the driver invisible, chatter. No, motherfucker. He's literally driving. He's driving on the highway. He's getting passed on both sides by cars because he's driving slow. And he's driving, not looking at the road, and he's using both of his hands to switch the camera angle, and he does not have his hands on the fucking wheel at all. He's also possibly drunk.
It loses, and it creates a chain reaction. Tulsi's great. She's going off the official assessment she's got. She's only been in there, like 80, 90 days or whatever. And she's going off official assessment she has, not off all the hidden intel. Official assessments are the worst information there is. So when Trump says Tulsi's wrong, they're building a...
Every time he switches camera, every time he switches the camera from one hand to the other, to put his hand up to go, initial intelligence assessments, I lose it. This is incredible.
Bomb, and they're about to have it. No, they got it. When they demonstrated last year that they can hit Israel and get through their defenses with those ballistic missiles, it means they can hit them with a bomb. Israel's argument is take them out then. No, you don't do that, because if you put them against the wall, they'll launch their atomic weapons, and Israel will obliterate them with better, more high-tech systems they've had since the 60s, but it won't matter. It's like the War Games movie from the 80s, a strange game. Only way to win is not to play. Only way to win is not to play. So that's where we are. And again, this is out of control. I'm glad Trump put a 2-week moratorium on striking Iran. Iran's very belligerent because they can block the Strait of Hormuz and drive up oil prices massively and tank the world economy and kill Trump's recovery. So I don't know what we should specifically do. But everybody should take a deep breath here that's got war fever and just understand this is dangerous. Bannon literally doesn't brag about it, but it's admitted from sources that's what happened. He went in there and talked Trump down yesterday from striking him basically today. So we need more of what Bannon did and less of what Netanyahu's pushing. I don't want Israel to be blown off the map. I don't have some existential hatred of Israel. This is all interconnected. But I do not like the leadership of Israel, and Netanyahu is in political trouble and wants to continue to use crises to stay in power. Same thing with Zelensky and NATO and the EU is collapsing. So they want a war with Russia to prop themselves up. I don't hate the people of Europe, but I don't like their leadership. So I've been vindicated again. Hopefully we got a reprieve, at least a week or so. But more aircraft carriers are showing up at Gerald.
It's crazy how people from the U.S. get mad at Iran for being able to sway world politics. Dude, this man is this man should be worried about a different sway, okay? How his vehicle is swaying from lane to lane on the fucking Texas interstate, okay? Cuomo's biggest donors are cheering Trump on. These are the MAGA warmongers who would have his ear in City Hall. When you use the wrong method but getting the right answer anyway. Anyway, notice something. I didn't even give a shit about his talking points because I've heard them a million times. Because those talking points are exactly the same as every other fucking Republican mouthpiece and every other Republican influencer. State Department spokesperson Tammy Bruce says America's the greatest country on earth next to Israel. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, I love this type of shit, dude. Injected directly into my veins.
Being able to be here and do work that facilitates making things better for people. And in the greatest country on earth, next to Israel. It is, it's an honor to be able to make a difference. And
this is the type of shit, because like a lot of people who may have not gone to college, okay, or haven't had the fucking Zionism beam directly mainlined, or are too young to know of a world where like only this kind of propaganda was allowed, hear people like this in positions of power say this and go, oh my God, this has to be like a pedophile blackmail ring or something. And it's just like, no, dude, this is what happens when you're over the age of fucking 50, okay? Everyone over the age of 50 is like, Israel's the greatest country on the planet. I don't understand why these people are not letting them do a genocide. Like, what? What's happening? Some of my friends argue to me that this isn't creepy. I guess when you're used to creepy, nothing's creepy. Even some Israelis find the pandering to be creepy. They have told me this, but it's a boomer evangelical thing in most of the country. The Jewish right is tiny, so it will die out before long. Yes. Yes. 100%. Why do they love Israel so much? I genuinely don't understand. I mean, there's a bunch of different reasons. There's a shit ton of influence peddling that was so prominent in both liberal circles and progressive circles and certainly in right-wing circles. But then there's also the evangelical angle. Evangelicals love Israel. They think Israel is supposed to be the nation state for the chosen sons and daughters of God so that they can all go live there, send all the Jews to the desert, okay, implement the greater Israeli project so that Jesus Christ can come back to earth and fight the devil's forces in Megiddo. Okay, they want the rapture to happen. That's it. That's why they'll be like, oh, the Holy Land. I love the Holy Land. I went there. And there is a fuck ton of money coming from Christians United for Israel, okay, Kufi, and all this other shit that play a formative role. If you go to any of these evangelical mega churches in the South, they talk about Israel all the time. They talk about Israel all the time. And these motherfuckers are not even like pro-Jew by any means. They are literally anti-Semitic. They're just pro-Israel because Israel has to exist. Israel has to be the way that it is so that the end times can come. It sounds fucking insane. I know it sounds insane. It sounds like an anime. You're like, how can these people believe this? Remember, these people also believe that abortion is murder, okay? They believe a lot of stupid shit.
And to be able to speak in this regard with an administration that I love so much and that I feel genuinely represented by, it's a real honor. The pride of being able to be here and do work that facilitates making things better for people, and in the greatest country on earth, next to Israel.
Christians want Jesus to come back and end them. By the way, that's the full prophecy. Yeah. Oh, the other side of Christian Zionism that's really funny is that, and it's literally the reason why it's fucking an anti-Semitic theory to begin with, is that approximately like 100,000 Jews survive the rapture because they will convert to evangelical Christianity at that point, and the rest of the Jews still burn in eternal damnation in hellfire. So it's not like Jews get a good a good end of this bargain either. 144,000, sorry. My bad, I got the number wrong. Yeah, all the Jews died, just some become Christians, and that's the only reason why they're okay. Of course, a lot of Zionist Jews know this, but they don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck that these people are anti-Semitic either. They don't care because they don't fucking believe the rapture is going to happen. Understandably, I don't either. But that is the reason why Gilad Erdan, okay, the former UN ambassador to Israel, went to psychopathic, evangelical, rabid anti-Semitic pastor John Hagee's church and delivered a sermon immediately after October 7. Because Israel knows this is an incredibly important militant base of support in America. That's it. No, that's not the one that was complaining about children's drawings. That's Danny Danon. Seems weird to say, but it's also why, yeah. Seems like a good moment to say Christian Zionist orgs like this are a malignant force in U.S. politics that have been goading for all-out war since their inception. Yup. Kufi Action Fund. Thank you, real Donald Trump, for standing with... Find them? Oh. Thank you, real Donald Trump, for standing with Israel. When President Trump said Iran won't be allowed a nuclear weapon, he meant it.